Hello!
Hello, everyone.
I'm trying to make sure you guys don't get too much light. I'm just going to stand like this the whole time. Are you guys cool with this if I do chat like that the whole
Looks
time?
like antlers.
Welcome, guys. How is everybody doing this week? Come in my Christmas cheer. What's going on?
Did you eat some?
Are you okay?
I thought you were home.
No.
Oh,
I heard Joe, and I'm like running
No.
down the hallway,
Said hello.
Like, what's
we
going
said
on?
hello.
No.
Joe thought I was like, Joe.
Like I thought you were calling for me for the dog.
Isn't that like the fear of God that strikes every child when like your parent is like saying your name loudly, like, come here now. So
Yeah, comes running in.
yeah. So, guys, how's everyone doing this week? I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes with the delay with notifications, so we can get this
Yeah, I
ball
don't think mine
rolling.
popped up on my
I
phone
know.
yet either.
Usually, it's weird because like I get notifications from my own channel on my phone, which I think is totally weird because I'm not subscribed to myself or anything. But I get notifications when I go live.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hello,
Good to have you in
Stephanie.
tonight.
How is everyone? I didn't share it on Facebook either.
I was gonna say I didn't see it on there.
I'm sorry. I can do it now, though. How's everyone doing, Stephanie? How are you doing? Is it really cold there like it is here? Like, I procrastinated about getting my trough warmers and my troughs like cold because like I'm going to have to do that tomorrow.
I'm off work tomorrow, so maybe I'll help you out with it.
We film it, make it artistic, get all the good angles.
Don't know about that. I don't have as much artistic ability.
Come on. You can really make putting water trough heaters in very artistic.
But we do need them because it is getting cold.
Gosh, we do need them.
The other night we stood outside. I guess it was supposed to be a Starlink launch of some satellites, so we wanted
stood
to
out
see
in
it.
like 15 degrees.
Yeah. And it was sort of breezy,
sky.
so it was extra cold. And yeah, they never
It was
went
ridiculous.
across the sky, or at
Yeah,
least
but
we
then
couldn't
Mark's
see 'em.
like, I think it's just one satellite. I'm like,
No,
we're
that
gonna see.
was another.
Was that another one? Was there an actual launch then?
Nobody said anything about it, so I don't think it happened.
Yeah, we were out there for like 25 minutes, just like
Mhm.
sitting there, like looking at the sky.
Yeah, they're just supposed to send 60.
Negative 20 degrees Celsius
Man.
here this morning. What? Man. So
That
negative
is
20
cool.
degrees Celsius, is that like 10 degrees are like for
Yeah,
us?
somewhere around there.
Because you guys is like a 30 degree, like less from Celsius to Fahrenheit. If I'm just doing like the weird messed up math in my
General
head.
math,
Yeah, I'm not good at
0
math.
Celsius is freezing.
You guys have got a halo.
Yeah. There's Emma.
Emma's in here. Emma,
And
you
we
did
s-
so
yeah.
good on Lola Farms.
We
Like-
had fun with the bleep out
Yeah.
version when they were doing that.
Yeah, I was like, duh, I watch all of her videos. I'm going to know what these
Mhm.
are.
Stephanie says we have our heated buckets and water trough heaters all plugged in now.
I
Definitely
still
need them.
don't. I was out there busting. And then I was looking at the weather and I was like, 60 degrees this weekend. So I'm like, maybe if I can just hold out, my my hose will thaw and I will be able to fill up my troughs when it gets to like 60 degrees. And I'll fill them all up, get all the ice out, and then I'll put my water heaters in so that then like the next freeze that comes like the day after the 60s, then it won't freeze. So it's been cold. Like come in like hands hurt, face hurts cold. Like my nose has been all nasty and peeling. I know that's way too much information for you guys.
It's chapped in that wind.
The wind out here, just because like we're an agricultural area. So a lot of those fields have been harvested. So a lot of our natural wind breaks are gone. So we get a lot of rough, like the other day, it was really, really bad wind. Like blew my barn doors off the tracks and they were just like flapping. I was out there like, oh my God.
Emma said, yeah, what the bleep was a blast.
It was a fun game.
So real quick, funny story. So Darren, good thing you weren't outside in the shower in that cold weather because we went out to eat tonight and we were going through the drive-thru real quick and I actually was listening to that. And then I go to, and she holds it up. So I'm watching you in the shower.
In the shower while we're in the drive-thru to get dinner.
Yeah, I'm like, honey, don't put that up while
He's like, they're gonna think I'm watching guys in the shower.
Right.
Like that's what I do. I'm like, well, you are doing it right now, so it's not untrue.
So that was entertaining, needless to say. So
we really appreciate
it.
it.
Looked like that soap worked out good.
Yeah.
So that is still something on our docket.
I once was addicted to soap, but now I'm clean.
Yeah.
I was like, I died. Mark's like, you need to get a hold of
Maybe
yourself.
I'll push you over the edge though to make soap because I know that's on our bucket list.
It is. I've got and it's really taking up a lot of room in my freezer right now because I save it in the ice cube trays and I put it in a Ziploc baggie.
Mm-hmm.
So then it looks like I've just got like lots of white ice blocks. in my freezer, and it's not pleasant to look at, and it takes up a lot of room when I should be using them. So I just need to pull the trigger. I know.
Oh, hello, busy little house.
Busy little house. How are you? You came at an interesting point.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked out Darren over at Thorhaven Farms video from today, you get to see him kind of in the shower.
It's like a commercial for soap. It's pretty good. Remind me sort of the like the Old Spice theme. You know,
it kind of it was
a parody almost.
It was funny.
So he said it's so much nicer to use.
Oh yeah, I bet it is. I mean, like the commercial stuff is kind of harsh, especially if you're not like really aware of the things that go into some of the soap.
Yeah.
And you like put them on your skin. It's like, oh, that's kind of. It's one
Hello,
of those things.
Dee's Homestead.
Hello, Dee's Homestead.
What's that? Jules Small Space Gardening, rolling, but mostly back and forth on PC, not phone tonight.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
I was like that in Lala Farms Live. I was on my phone, and I told Mark, I'm like, I hate being in chats on my phone. Like, it drives me nuts because by the time I get things typed out, like, it's already that subject's already gone. So I'm just like, delete. It's terrible. Hello, Bear White. How are you?
Yeah.
So today, guys, we're going to be talking about, and it's just something that like I was thinking about a lot because like I love to decorate my house for Christmas. Like I am a Christmas person, guys. But there's like a lot of good, bad, and ugly that comes with Christmas. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. So
Busy Little House said, "I'll be sure not to watch it while being
not in the drive-thru."
Yeah.
Well,
it's like she was like holding it up for me too, and the person like taking my money was like looking at me.
Darren, I was trying to make it famous.
Yeah.
You can thank me later.
Oh, Emma posted it. Yeah, be sure to check it out. It's
it is funny because like I was looking at it and I'm like, Mark, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's a short video. So I was like, well, let's watch it real quick while we're sitting here waiting on our food. And then Mark's like, don't show it to me on the drive-thru. They'll think I'm watching that. I'm like, well, you are watching it with your wife. It's okay.
Watch out while getting drive-thru food. Habit for
they
me.
needed to know about soap too. They care about their skin as well. Sure. Darren was doing them a service.
Yeah. Oh, their soap may take off. All thanks to Darren.
In the Burger King drive-thru in Oxford, Ohio.
Yep.
You're welcome.
There you go.
So
you were talking about Christmas decorations.
Yeah. I'm so terrible. Like, if you're new to our chats, I have to apologize because this is just how I am. Like, we will go here, and it's like, boom, 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 boom. So I really try to stay on track. That's his job. It doesn't work very well. It doesn't work very well.
Commonly.
He just knows not to get into my way because I will steamroll. I'm like, we're going this way, y'all. Hello, Chris is Clever Craft. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you? So I wanted to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of Christmas because I was kind of going through all of my decorations and looking around my house. It's very Christmassy. You guys will see that in Vlogmas very soon. But there's a lot of I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to talk about it because like there's a lot of people that well, like I get super happy and hyped and we go to like lots of different things with family and friends and our calendar fills up and we're constantly busy and then we're filming Vlogmas because we're insane. There are a lot of people that just kind of don't have that, you know, that they don't have that family or they don't have that friends. And I feel like a lot of us sometimes don't realize how blessed we are, how favored we are because we have things like that or we have a good community, even like for this, like YouTube, for some people, if they're at home or they're bedridden or they're sick or they're in quarantine or whatever, this is kind of like the only way that they can get out and see people. So I feel like people kind of get reminded like of their social anxieties and their social lackings around this time of year. And I mean, it's like clockwork. I know that I had just seen on Facebook a person that I'd known back in high school had actually taken their own lives. And it's so sad because it happens a lot around the holidays because you see all these people that have like these houses decorated or they've got family around them and they get to gather and feel that unity. And there are a lot of people out there that just feel really, really isolated. And the thumbnail for this is Be the Light. So, I mean, I feel really compelled a lot of times when I see people that are suffering like emotionally, like that is just our heart too. We're very involved with our church. So whenever we see anybody that is in need or someone that just needs a lot of help, like it's just in our hearts to reach out and to help them. And it's kind of incapacitating when you think about all of the people that feel that emptiness around the holidays when they should be feeling very full. They should be feeling that unity and community and and love surrounding them, and they just don't. So this is my way of kind of reaching out in a broader spectrum to just make sure that everybody out there is aware that there are people, even though we're all out bustling around, that really need just to be lifted up, that they need just simple kindnesses. And you see that even in stores. People are just kind of like zoned in, and they get that tunnel vision, and you're in there to get your shopping done for the holidays or whatever. And sometimes we can just kind of cast people to the side, but it's okay to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, to smile, say hello. I mean, I don't know how many times we've been in grocery stores and just be like, hello, and smile, don't know them. And they're like, they probably think I'm crazy. But I'm just like, if that's the only smile and hello that you got today, at least you got one, So I just want people to keep that in mind. Maybe it's more so for me because I know I get really carried away with like holly jolly all the time during Christmas, but there's just so many people that don't have that. And I just want to remind people that, a simple kindness costs you nothing. It literally costs you nothing to be kind to somebody around the holidays. So just make sure we're being kind to one another out there. Like we always say, I hope you guys are staying safe out there and being kind to one another. I really mean that, and especially around the holidays. Sorry, that's my spiel. Get it out of the way.
Busy Little House said, how are you going to stay on topic after that?
I know, right?
Emma said Chick-fil-A for dinner. Whopper sounds good, though.
The Whopper was really good. So he makes fun of me. He goes, I get a Whopper, and I'm like, I want a Whopper with cheese, but I want no onions, no tomato, no pickle. I hate their pickles are disgusting at Burger King, and their
It should just call
tomatoes.
It the Whop, because you only get
the purr. I'm only getting a Whop. That sounds so gross. I'd like a large Whop, please.
There's if we start getting soap orders from Ohio.
Yes, you very well could.
Hello, Hilltop Flowers. We got
Fairview Family Farm. Rebel Canner's in here. Marzinski is in here again. David Outdoors. Hello. I saw you shot no deer so far. I felt so bad for you. But hey, how's your guys' season? Are you guys done? I may have missed that in your video. How long is your season? I hope you're not done. I hope you get to put something in the freezer, bud.
Yep.
It says the Busy Little House says, yep, hard not to use this time as a time of mourning after losing a close friend See, there's a lot of people like that too. I know a lot of people that have lost family members recently, and Thanksgiving is tough, but then right after Thanksgiving you have another very family oriented holiday. And I feel like that just floors people. Like it can put someone in the ground, and it's tough because like things are not the same when the people that you love are not here to celebrate them with you anymore. I know I had done a deer hunting video this week, and I cannot remember whose comment it was, but they were talking about how they'd fallen out of deer hunting because their son had got married and moved down. He's like, well, I'm forgiving him, but I'm getting back into it. And I said, and my response was, it's tough to enjoy traditions when the people you usually enjoy them with are not there like they were before. But totally get back into hunting because for me, it's total therapy. But I feel like that also goes for people that have lost loved ones, especially when it's a time where families gather. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it's really hard for some people. We have been lucky enough that we have not lost anybody recently. I'm just going to knock on the wood table here because I don't want to lose anybody. But I mean, it can totally dampen and change how you view holidays. 100%.
Yep.
David asked, did you get your watch hours? Oh my God, David, no. We're still just trucking along. We're trying. We're almost there. I think I'm in sight of 400 watch hours to go, but we're getting there. It's all right. Trying.
Busy Little House said, so important to count blessings and share love. Definitely.
It is.
It's one of the biggest gifts you can offer. Dee said, I'm supposed to be putting my tree up tonight.
Well, you can hang with us. We won't tell.
No, you're not too late yet.
I won't tell. It's okay.
Oh, David Outdoors said, just got back from salting roads.
Yeah,
we had
you're in New York. Yeah.
We had a dusting of snow this morning, but it melted off.
It melted off really, really quick.
Too bad yet.
But I did notice the trough was like yay thick with ice. It was pretty terrible. But we're getting in the 60s this weekend, so welcome to Indiana.
Emma said the holidays are so touchy for folks who struggle with mental health and those who've lost loved ones.
Yes, 100%. And I mean, you can ask him, like, we'll see someone that's struggling, and I'm just like, give them the house and the sink. Just give them the kitchen, everything in the kitchen sink. And it's just really tough because if we did that, like I know that, and I'm sorry if nobody here, we're Christians, we believe in God and a higher calling and everything like that. But I do believe like the more you give to people, even if the only thing that you can give in that moment is a smile, that you are rewarded for that. Because honestly, even if you don't believe in God or Christ, it's a universal understanding. Like I've always said to people, I put out what I want to receive back, which is like the gold rule. You do unto others as you'd have them do to you. It's karma. It's all of those things. So, really, if the only thing you have to give in the holiday season is a smile to someone, by God, give it,
Yep. Rosinski said, I got to look up my homemade recipe of lip balm and remembered you guys were live. Well, glad you found us.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
The notifications
Notifications have been where we were at Freedom Homesteads live on Monday, and it was like so spotty for it because like usually they have like a lot of people in their lives, and there weren't as many, and then people started coming in like halfway through, like just got your notification, you were live a half hour ago. So
on my phone.
yeah, it's YouTube is just YouTube's drunk all the time. Last weekend,
fingers crossed.
Fingers and toes are crossed for you, brother. I hope you get some food in the freezer.
Emma said, girl, perfect Whopper is with cheese, onions, no pickles, cut in half. Wow. I just do everything.
No pickles, man. Their pickles are gross. Sorry, Burger King. I love everything else about it.
Robo Canners, I always order no condiments. Most of the time, they don't know what I mean. I can't eat ketchup with cheese.
Yeah.
I
feel
used
bad.
to be picky, but now I just eat it all. Tomato.
What he's going to end up doing, and what I probably should do, is I shouldn't tell them not to take those off. I should tell them to leave them on, and I'll pick them off, and then I'll feed them to like my chickens and my ducks, and just feed them with the extra food and honestly, that's what I should do. And especially so that I don't get the eye rolls. Yeah. Because whenever we go to a drive-thru, he's like, what don't you like on your sandwich here? Shut up.
It's hard to keep track of. As long as you don't leave my car and the car smells like onions the next day.
That's what's happening. I'm going to do it
That's
just for that.
Before.
Just for that. So Morzinski family says ours is January 1st for whitetail.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Ours is like the first weekend. So that's probably going to be January 2nd, I think, is the last day for us.
David Outdoor said, then Black Powder opens next Monday. I'll try posting a video on the last weekend.
Oh, I hope you
That'd
do.
Be cool.
See, we're in Black Powder here. It opened up last Saturday, and it goes until next Saturday. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Busy Lyle says, Rebel Canners, we cannot be friends. Condiments and like how people like their food is one of those things where like, you don't like that, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Dees Holmes says, okay, I'm Pa and ours and are in Pennsylvania, and ours ends this weekend also. Guys, I hope for you. If you haven't gotten anything in the freezer, I hope you do. Do get something this weekend.
Let's see. David Outdoor said, I've got to do a cameo on your channel sometime.
You do, yes, 100%. I'm back. Just took a quick shower. Did you film?
Did you record that one too, dear? Can only take so much, Darren. All right. David Outdoor said, got to head out, guys. 2 a.m. comes early. Chow. It's good to have you, David.
Have fun. I'm sure you're salting roads that early in the morning. Boo. Brenda Baker, hello. Welcome. Hilltop Flowers had to go gluten-free. A Whopper sounds amazing. I miss bread. No. I couldn't imagine. Like people that are like voluntarily gluten-free, I'm like, you are superhumans, because I couldn't. I just couldn't. Look, Steve, good day, mate.
Hello.
How are you, friend from down under?
Yeah, for me, like, even though we'll go to Burger King and stuff, I'm a chicken guy more. I'll go and usually get the chicken sandwiches.
That's funny because like we got through the drive-thru and he ordered just a chicken sandwich, and I knew like they're shaped kind of like a sub. I got it out, and he's like, well, it's shaped like a sub. I'm like, well, that's their chicken sandwich. I'm like, you usually get the spicy chicken sandwich. He's like, I forgot. So where I'm hyper aware of what I get in every place, he just forgets.
Yeah, I just ordered something.
And then opens things up. He's like, what is this? I'm like, what you ordered?
I'll still eat it. Dude, I'm not that picky. Steve said lunchtime here, ham, cheese, and sweet mustard pickle
that
sandwich.
Sounds good.
That does sound good.
That sounds like a good lunch.
I should totally go for that.
The busy little house says, I got blessed with beef after helping neighbors with a pile of cows on the road.
Wow.
A pile of cows?
Hopefully that wasn't due to an accident.
I was going to say,
that's awesome. You got beef from it.
Yes.
So hopefully,
There's always good that comes out of that sometimes.
and cows will do damage to cars. We have a couple in the area of people we know that
We have lots of Angus
Yeah,
around
the
this
black
area, so
Angus
they're
that
black
are
and
hard
they
to
get out
see.
at night, and it's like you're on top of them before you know they're there.
Yeah, I had a neighbor down the road when I was growing up. He totaled his pickup truck hitting a cow.
Yeah.
So it's actually not that uncommon around here.
Oh, Hilltop Flowers, it's not voluntary. I'm allergic. It's even worse though. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I will never mention a Whopper in your presence again. I promise.
Switch
I'm
to
gonna
Big
have
Mac.
to write
You
it
like
down.
Big Macs
Well,
too,
no,
so-
because she can't have gluten, so
I
she's
know.
allergic. How do you feel
That'd
about
be
Big
killer.
Macs? It would. I'd be much. I feel like maybe I'd be in better shape. But I'd be much more unhappy when it came to the food
We always
side
have
of
a
things.
small segment in our lives we talk about food.
Always, food always comes up in the segments. Always. I blame it on Emma because she's an amazing
So
cook.
Busy Little House said like 150 cows got out. I got very dirty bringing them back and working in a makeshift fence.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
So did they end up
Crazy.
just slaughtering a couple, or I mean,
They didn't get
that's
piled
a
up
lot.
on the road, right?
yeah.
Matt's calling. He's in Arkansas telling me about his day. Okay, Emma,
cool.
have fun with that.
Yep.
Tell him we said hello.
Yep.
We're waiting for the beard bedazzling video. I'm sure it's coming. Take
Down
your
in
time.
Arkansas. Busy Little House said
No,
community here. Yeah,
Yes.
at 150 cows.
Yeah.
They need some community to support them. So
Wow. Well, and that's good too, though, because I feel like that's what some people get stunted homesteading. They get that in their head that they cannot, it's got to be them. That you have to do it yourself. And that is just so not true.
yeah,
Like, community is so important. And we as a society here, at least, have very much lost that feeling, like feeling a physical community, especially like in agricultural areas. Like here, if someone's cows are out, like we're going to pull over, we're going to go to their house, but hey, buddy, you got some cows out on the road, you know?
yeah.
But I
Instead,
think-
we had goats out for what 2 hours because
Oh.
we left the camp. We were talking about it last week. Yeah,
Yeah.
we caught them
I
on the
left
live
the
frame
gate
camera.
open and all the goats got out and the donkeys too. And then I got back and the barn doors open and Dilly, the big, huge boar goat, is just standing majestically in the doorway. I'm like,
Like,
why
yeah.
is she out?
On a good note, though, like we had a pretty busy roadway nearby that was closed,
Yeah.
and all the traffic got rerouted to our road,
Hmm.
and that's been reopened. So
Yeah. Thank God.
yeah, because that was bringing
Although
up
our
a lot
road
of-
is destroyed, like it's not meant for semis, the amount of traffic. There's some places now on our road where it's not safe
Yeah.
to pass another car.
which our road doesn't have road lines on it
Yeah.
anyways. It's pretty bad.
I
for
love
us,
it.
so.
Like I had friends that would come from Ohio and they'd be like, "Where are the lines on your road?" I'm like, "Dude, we're in Indiana. We don't need no lines on
Lucky
our
it's got
roads."
some pavement or tar on it. Usually some of these don't.
Like it's not
which
gravel.
I know
That's
some of you guys are
saying
probably familiar
something.
with, but Stephanie said I had a cow hit my parked car, and my insurance company wouldn't believe me. The cow destroyed my back driver side door. It had to be completely replaced.
Are you serious?
I remember as a kid in 4-H, sometimes the steers would get loose, and we were always taught, run into a barn or get under a car if
Yeah.
they come at you, because I mean, honestly, they can do a ton of damage.
But it's amazing,
But-
like at fairs when steers, even like the big beef steers get out, and like
Mhm.
the amount of like people, men, not saying anything bad about men, but usually men are the ones that want to go in a store. I'm like, man, that is like a 2,000-pound animal
Yeah.
who is pissed and just like, I want out of here. Like, get out of its way.
Yeah.
Someone get a
Yeah.
feed bucket and
There
shake
was
it into
one
a
time there was
corral.
one that got out and chased 2 little girls, and they knew to get under
They were cattle
a car,
people. Yeah.
but it did hit the car a couple times. But then it went down through like the main part of the fair.
Mhm.
It was going to a more populated area. And it was probably 6 or 7 guys that jumped on it.
Yeah.
And one broke his arm, one broke ribs.
It was
I mean,
ridiculous. It was crazy.
I was in the goat barn and we
Yeah.
closed all the doors up. Like that was the first
But
thing.
that
we
is
did.
like one of those things too. Like even when we take people in our fairs down through like to see the steers, like in and around like steer shows, we're just kind of, even though like those animals are worked with, you never know when an animal that big is going to get in its mind like, I just don't want to do what you want me to do today. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it. And we try to teach like our kids that are around us or kids that are with us, like, hey, you need to be super aware of your surroundings here. If the cow gets out, like you get out under something or get on top of something. You know,
Mhm.
don't stay on the ground, get somewhere. So
Yeah. Busy Little
Crazy.
House said you share a duplex in the city and not know your neighbor for 20
it's
years.
crazy.
Yeah.
We got to talk to our neighbor this weekend.
Yeah.
He caught us being very goofy.
Yeah. I was doing a funny picture post with our
We're
So we're
putting
going-
up a sign
Yeah.
for our farm.
help people find our place.
Yes.
Because it's on a crest of a hill, so people generally pass by it and then call and be like, "Where are you
Where
guys
are
at?"
you guys at? Like, you see
'Cause
that
we're
big
off the road a little
barn
bit,
back off
too.
the road?
So-
Like, that's us. So
So yeah, she's like, "Stand by it." So of course I was acting goofy, and then I hear a chuckle, and I look across the road.
and of course,
And
like,
he's
I'm in
watching
the
us,
middle of
so-
taking a selfie of both of us. I'm like, no. We're
Yeah.
gonna do this first.
Yeah,
He's like, what you guys got going on there? A
Yeah.
sign.
we're taking pictures by
We're
Woodside.
trying to get stuff for social media.
Yeah, that's our general nights. That's how we roll.
Oh
Dee
my
said I
gosh.
couldn't do that. Let's see, Brenda Baker, love your
Yeah.
deer decorations. Yep.
Do you like them? I love the deer decorate. Here's one that I've got on my table. You guys can't see it, but since you said you liked it.
Yeah.
Look, it's so
It's
pretty.
definitely a theme around here with the Christmas
Yes.
stuff.
Farm and deer. It's pretty much what it is. It's pretty much what our
Oh,
lives are
busy
like.
little house today. She seconds the deer decor.
I love the deer decor.
That sounds like my
So
kind of look.
majestic, thinking of reindeer running in the sky, pulling a sled.
Yeah.
Goodness, can't get over it.
I heard a lot of people were using the Starlink satellite
Yeah.
launch, saying that it was Santa going across the sky
Yeah,
because it can cause a streak. So
yeah. It's our. Yeah. I'm afraid there are kids on here. I don't want to be nothing like that, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I don't want
don't want to
to. I
spoil.
don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Darren said any of those deer would be nice to put on the wall. Yeah,
For real,
I'd be okay with that.
any deer that ever come near me that are like wall hangers, I will always miss, or they just never give a great shot. I'm just like, why?
Mhm.
Why? One of these days it's gonna come out clean though.
For sure.
Of course, Joe, her first time out, has to go and get like a nice deer. I'm like, it's not always like that,
Yeah.
lady.
Then next time she went out, she didn't have the extra
No.
socks on and froze pretty bad.
My fault too. It's my fault. Yeah, it was definitely my fault. But
Gotcha.
are you recollecting this in your head?
I don't think it was that cold the first time she went out.
Oh,
too,
and
so-
speaking of our kiddo, so she is officially in quarantine.
Mhm.
So she's not allowed to go back to school until this time next week.
Yeah, one of her close friends tested positive, so
Positive,
she's in
so-
a quarantine state.
Yeah, I had to go pick her up from school today. She was so
Mhm.
mad because today, usually Wednesdays are her day. Like, she gets picked up and she gets to go down. His mom picks her up and then takes her down to see her cousins.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't tell us till my mom had got there, but
Yeah, like she was pretty much there. I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't,
yeah.
if you don't want to pick her up, like, I'm already on my way because the nurse is like, I don't want her on the bus, so I have to come get her anyway. So,
Mhm. It was a
hello, Black's Tropical Homestead. This is my soil family right there. I love how you say
So-
that.
bummer. Here we'll switch up a little bit, like we were talking about earlier. So, I don't know if you guys have seen or heard reports of it, but we were talking about earlier the earthquakes off the coast of
yeah,
Oregon.
how many have they had? Like 40?
Yeah, I think it's
40
over 50
earthquake.
now.
Is it
So-
over 50?
Hmm?
Is it over 50
yeah,
now?
last I heard it
Yeah,
was
all
over
those
50.
clusters
They're not
of
major, but
earthquakes.
I think it reinstates. We even started talking about it a little bit again too, is having like a
A go back.
prepared plan
Yeah.
or a go bag, and just moments like that make you think, like, and honestly, there hasn't been anything to just. There she
There's
is.
the
I'm
quarantine.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My best friend, she texted me and she's like, "Can you get in there and like wait for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course. I'll get in
Oh.
the background
So you have to
and
make your
wait."
spotlight.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but just as my friend asked me to go in the
It's Emma.
background and wave. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It's-
Hi, Emma.
Hello.
What are we,
Yes,
chopped
that's
liver,
right.
Emma? Come on.
She went in Jay's the other day.
It might have been. I think
I
so.
think she was in.
Yeah.
But-
So, where were you
Yeah.
going with that?
Huh?
Oh,
talking
the
about
go
being
bag, like
prepared.
being
Yeah, I know we
prepared and
talked
stuff,
about
yeah.
some of that the other week, but again, like those situations, you just never know
Yes.
what could happen from it. And I know there's been several reports and scientists saying, hey, this probably won't lead to anything. But
Yes.
at the same point, I mean, at any point, that can happen.
Well,
much
I mean,
anyway.
even though we have signs and we have all these different tools that can kind of predict, there are always going to be those one-off instances
Mhm.
where their machines didn't take it into the calculation
Yeah.
for their predictions. So, and I think Busy Little House has it right. She's like, plans A, B, C, and D are always important. And that is
Yeah.
really true. And I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of us get like really set in our routines and the things that we're going to do. We say, this
Mhm.
is the plan and this is what we are going to do. But in that situation, the plan goes out the door and it is
Yeah.
completely like reactive. And that's when it comes in handy to like
Yeah.
practice things
That's
like
one
that.
thing I've seen with some of the posts, even though they were saying, hey, we don't predict it to get worse or, things to get bad or,
Mhm.
something more major is coming. they said be prepared, always be prepared. And I think that sort of opened our eyes. Even with the holiday bustle, sometimes it's easy to lose track of that. But as Busy Little House said, I know I've talked to Ashley about, like, even though we have a lot of things on the homestead, there's always thoughts and what happens if you actually have to be mobile and move. I mean, there could be a situation where your area isn't safe, and just having a backup plan in that manner.
Yeah, and he knows, like, we try to go over a lot of situational awareness of things, and I try to talk about how we think we would react.
Try to get a school bus to carry the goats
off. But it also gives me panic attacks, because, like, I am a very much like, I want to shelter in place. And I feel like a lot of homesteaders do have that mentality, because we put a lot of effort into our properties. We put a lot of effort into storing food, taking care of livestock, planting things, regenerative practices with just the land that we're on. And the thought of leaving it, for me, it's like total anxiety. Like, it makes me like almost I get emotional, and it makes me almost want to break down. But I guess, like, in survival situations like that, where it's that, or, you know, I think not making it through, then you just make
one
the right
eye-opening
choice.
situation with that was I don't think she's in here tonight, Rachel from Dusty Goat, but she was talking about when the hurricanes were going through Florida, farms down there, they had to basically open the gates and
just let them go,
let the animals go, because it wouldn't be safe to be penned.
And I know that happens a lot out west with wildfires. Like, they'll write even on hooves, and sometimes when people ask me why I tattoo my goats, that's another reason why tattooing it. Sometimes permanently marking an animal is beneficial. You know, I know it's not for everybody. I have to tattoo my goats for registration purposes, so that they can identify that animal in the show ring, so that in case the wrong animal isn't getting a specific win when it wasn't actually that animal. But it helps in situations like that with theft. If there was like a fire here, or some type of flood, or some type of terrible disaster where it was in the animal's best interest to open up the gates and say, go, because I literally cannot protect you here. You're better off working with your own instinct. And if someone were to come across them, they could identify them and bring them back. Yeah. But that to me is stressful. And Rachel is actually a great person to talk to about that. She's also a 911 dispatcher. So, like, talking to her sometimes, I love talking to her, because she's just got such like an even keeled mindset, because she's been put in those high pressure situations where someone is just freaking out on the other side of other end of the phone. And she's like, you just have to be that baseline, and you have to get them to, like, think clearly and to communicate with you and tell you important pieces of information. And that takes a special type of person. And Rachel is over on Dusty Goat Homestead. If you guys want to visit their site, they have a Facebook page. She's a wonderful gal. Love her to death. She's just super, super nice. Yeah. She was with Hidden Oaks Homestead, Nicole and Chip over at Hidden Oaks Homestead, that got the Gulf Coast Homesteaders meetup this year. So they're already looking for a venue next year.
Nicole and Chip actually have a little talking appointment with the keeper of the old ways.
So does Dusty Goat.
Oh,
they do. Dusty Goat does, and so does the Lala Farm, and that's down at Keeper of the Old Ways, and that's down in Florida. If it were far away and like right in the middle of like when, you know, it gets busy at our work, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. But
Busy Little House had some good points. Said, my father always taught me, how comfortable do you want to be in the case of a real emergency? That's true. I mean, you don't want to be in a tougher situation because you're not ready to move on. Or, you know, it's just one of those things where you just have to look at the reality of the situation you're in and make sometimes a tough choice.
It is a tough choice. And like, and when he started talking about if there was ever a point where like we had to get out of here, you know, it would literally be like, what could you carry on your back? So I think we've been taking in everyday carry, just things like and everyday carry isn't like always firearm oriented. That's like, I have a pocket knife in because I'm out in the barn all the time, or you have a multi-tool, or you have like a lighter, you have things in your pockets all the time. But also the things that go in our go bags, because you think of situational awareness like that, it's like, well, what if this happens? But you need to travel light as well. Yeah. But that's also why I've become a lot more interested in foraging in my backyard and learning a lot more about things in my region that are edible and things that are very close to looking like something edible, but the science to showing that like they're actually toxic. Yeah. So I've started to pick up a lot more on foraging in my area because we've talked about that a lot. Not that we think the world is going to end, but it's nice too to be able to go out in the backyard and be like, look, this is a puffball mushroom. I can cook this up in a heartbeat. This is dinner tonight. And save from going to the grocery store.
Busy Little House also said it's important to imagine very uncomfortable situations. Yeah, to sort of get an idea of planning around them, and also how you're going to react. So it's always
because a
good
lot
to
of us are
visualize
not
them.
used to being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We have luxuries here that lots of other countries and lots of even people just like right down the road from us that we don't even know are living in hardship have, you know. 100%.
Darren said, been watching the Homestead Rescue. Amazing how many lost or almost lost to fires. Yeah.
Is that not
That's
crazy?
a show we've caught a couple of times, and a lot of it is in wildfire areas, and they a lot of times will build a structure to support or protect animals in that situation, like using the one I watched recently was like the big concrete retention wall blocks that they built and basically made a shelter. That way they would have shield from a fire or heat that they could stay in.
Then there was one that was like totally the opposite. They had bought a lot of property that was swampland. And they're trying to run all of this livestock on it. And they're like, there's snakes, there's all kinds of things in the swamp.
Yeah.
And they literally just took the ground and like morphed it to where it wasn't swamp. He's like, we're going to use fill. And like the stuff he was using for fill was like, dang, I never would have looked around at natural resources on my property and be like, that is what we're going to use to fill. This is going to be our barrier. But like sometimes like seeing people do that like pure, simple common sense is like, it's not difficult. You just have to learn how to look at a situation and think how to creatively solve it with things that are in front of you. And a lot of us just do not have that. That's not a skill set that's practiced very often here anymore. Morel mushrooms, Brenda. Yes, I can't wait for May. I
just got those hooked on me. I never actually start hunting until me and Ashley were together. So then she fries them up and they're delicious.
So good.
Busy Little House said, the ice storm of 1998 here in Quebec hit us hard. No electricity for 39 days at home. And that's one thing that's got us considering a wood stove, because really everything in our house is electric. I mean, we have like little camp stoves and stuff like that to cook on for propane, but really no good alternate source of heat.
Yeah, and like think like in that situation, you can't get out to get another propane tank. Yeah. You can't get out to go do this or that. It's all basically like, what do you have on hand now to keep you,
especially with ice. That's nasty.
It's crazy.
These said,
I think it's going to be a great event. 100.
Looking at the list of all the speakers,
I think Doug and Stacy off grid are going to be there. They have all kinds of speakers coming in.
I love seeing these events popping up. They're getting more publicity now, and it seems like more popularity.
100%,
which is awesome.
And it's an empowerment for people like to be able to take their
HOA
1 acre.
This year blew up. Like it was way bigger than they even expected.
Bigger. But like the thing that I noticed, and it's actually Rachel and her husband John at Dusty Goat are going to be talking about how to homestead on 1 acre, and that's wildly popular. And I think
there's
that's
people that are very successful doing it too.
100%.
A large amount of food
like even Wiedemann Reap, Danelle in Arizona in a desert climate, she gleans a ton of food, a ton of sustenance from her 1 acre, like in the suburban area. And I feel like people need to be empowered to know, like, you don't have to have gobs of land. You don't have to live out in the middle of nowhere. You can literally do the stuff in your backyard and be successful and self-sustaining.
Busy Little House said, doesn't hurt to learn about foraging.
No, it doesn't.
Nope, not at all. I think it's amazing to find how many plants around you are edible,
super edible,
or have multiple uses.
Medicinal.
It's incredible.
Brzezinski, amen.
Having the right ammo.
Or knowing how to make the right ammo.
That's a hobby of mine, and one thing I've been trying to do is I reload as well, and finding calibers that use similar diameter bullets or cases, so I can use those as multi-purpose and remanufacture ammo for a specific caliber based on the supplies I have. So
100%.
That's definitely a need. Last year showed supply shortages through that and everything else, and honestly, there's still some going through. It just
you just had a lot of people, and this is not knocking people that all of a sudden bad things happen and they decide that they want to be prepared. But one thing I will always preach until the day that I stop breathing is that when it comes to things like that, you absolutely must do your research. You must read. You must gain knowledge. And if you don't know it and the internet can't tell, find someone that does it, that does know, because people were making ammunitions with like the totally wrong powder, wrong primers, like making hand grenades and not knowing that they were making hand grenades. Or it's like, if you shoot this out of your gun, it's probably going to kill you. Like you can't shoot this. You have to have knowledge if you're going to use this in a firearm.
But even stuff like that, I mean, some of that becomes good trade items in hard times too, not just
if you trust the person that actually made the ammo is not giving you a hand grenade.
Yeah, true. I'm just saying in general, like if you had purchased ammunition.
Yeah.
But
Trying
even
to think about it from all angles.
yeah, we were trying to think. We were talking about that the other day. Honestly, some of the goods that you could be using for trade. Yes, June wanted you to.
June's like, stop talking about ammunition.
But like we talked to someone and they were talking about coffee being a good trade item because people like it and it has some purpose, especially with the caffeine and stuff like that. We've heard dark chocolate because it stores well. So just some of those items have value as trade items and not just use, which are good to keep in mind. So,
yeah, because if really you think about it, when crap hits the fan, it is not going to be money. It is going to be goods and services. 100%.
I was talking to someone the other day and they were talking about gold, how it generally holds value and stuff like that. But at the same point, we're sort of discussing if you were starving, would you want a gold coin?
I will give you a gold coin for that milk.
An apple would be worth a full gold coin if you were starving. So putting it in perspective sometimes is hard unless you got into that situation. But trying to think about it in that way makes you realize what is the actual value in those tough situations. So
yeah.
Busy Little House said, for your information, a diaper can hold a full pee of a 6-year-old while stuck in a winter storm on the highway.
Oh,
no more babies in diapers, but always keep
I
in
don't
the
blame you.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Darren said, this Monday we stocked up on more gas as it was raining all day and we were worried about another ice storm.
I don't know how you guys handle it up there because you guys get a lot more like
that's one thing
cold,
tough
nasty
with
weather
gas right now is my brother's a mechanic and we talked a little bit about it and how gas with the ethanol in it, which is a renewable source and everything like that, more I guess energy efficient or whatever, or environmentally friendly, but it really declined the shelf life of gas. And I know I use Stable quite a bit in some of the gas cans, especially right before we go into winter to help it store. But he was talking about some new product out there. It actually sends a longer than Stable. I think it can look down. It really helps. Oh, did we get down?
I hope we didn't lose you guys because like the internet thing is saying like we're really low. So let me know in the chat if you guys can still hear us or see us.
Yeah. So
if you can't hear us, then yeah. So then you've got Busy Little Houses on less than an acre. See,
awesome.
It's totally doable. Margie's in the house. Hello, Margie.
Hope you and Roger are doing well.
Yes.
Hope you're doing okay. You're in our thoughts and prayers. And,
always.
Everybody on the channel, keep Roger and Margie in your prayers.
Yeah. Brenda Baker says, I was amazed at people in Oklahoma when we had an ice storm and no electricity, and they were complaining about losing food in the fridge. I said, put in the ice chest. It's outside. It was below freezing.
Yeah.
Sometimes
looking at your situation make you overlook
that is
stuff
one
like
of
that.
those things, like we're saying, like just common sense is just not. It's just not a.
I saw a picture the other day, and it was a guy. He was he locked his keys in the car and was trying to get him out through the door, and the back window actually had a pit trash bag with tape around it where. The back window was busted.
Been smashed out.
Yeah. And he was trying to get the keys out of the car. And it's like, well, just peel the tape.
You don't just don't even have a window off and reach in.
So sometimes, like when you get in those situations where it's stressful or you're caught up in the moment, sometimes just stepping back and looking at it makes you realize
100%.
It's not. There's
Emma's
an
back.
alternative.
And then Busy Little House said, sorry, country internet is slow here tonight. I will forgive help on those watch hours. Nice to meet you all. That's no problem. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate talking with you.
The last couple weeks has been
the internet has been crazy today. It dropped for a while we were at work. We work remotely, so we depend on our internet.
Yeah.
And then if I could find where my little clicker thing is here. Feeling so much better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Margie, we're worried sick about you guys. Like, seriously, we pray for you guys so much.
Yeah.
Because it's nasty.
And we know you're feeling a bit, because Ashley mentioned earlier, Josie's in quarantine. She was close to somebody. Now, she's never tested positive, but she's been around both of us and we were sick at different times. So thinking she probably had it.
She's probably had it, but she's really bummed though because she had her first band concert last night, which she did amazing. For those of you who don't know, Jo plays trombone. It was her first time last night in a concert. She was a nervous wreck, which made me a nervous wreck, but she did great. But now she misses her choir concert next week, and she was really upset about that. And she just got on to her student council, and they were doing Spirit Week like the next 2 or 3 weeks. So she was all excited about getting everything kind of lined up and ready. And then she got this news. She's like, I had all my stuff ready for this week. I'm like, I know, baby, but that's just their protocol. So we kind of just gotta stick with it. And this time next week, you'll be able to go right back into school. It's not a big deal.
Yep. Everybody says we're good. It's just,
More blurry. I don't know if that's
second.
the crappy laptop or if that's the internet. It might be the crappy
Or we
laptop.
just look that way.
We're just, like in real life, we're just blurry figures.
Margie said Roger's feeling a lot better other than congested.
Oh, good.
Hit me harder than him. We were both on the meds.
I'm so glad to hear that, Margie. Thank goodness. This is another job application in, firing them out like bullets. Well, good, Steve. I'm
awesome.
Fingers crossed for you, bud. I really hope that you get a position that you like.
Yeah.
Emma got my shirt. It's over at my son's place. He has been getting all the mail for me. Oh, that's so nice. It's so fun too to like sport other people's swag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's excited. Recently, she won a shirt from Lala Farms, and it's I think been ordered, hasn't it?
Super excited. So yeah, he sent me the email today, but he ordered it today for me. So, I get super excited. I love swag. Brenda Baker says, "Got to run, catch up later."
Yep.
Bye, Brenda.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for being here.
Margie, thank you for the prayers. Believe in the power of prayer.
Yes,
we do too.
100%.
So we'll believe with you, and
yes,
hope you feel better soon. Steve said, "Got a few irons in the fire. It's more an issue of who you know, so calling in some contacts."
Oh my goodness, I know how that goes.
Yeah, actually, the job I just got this summer was correlated to that. I had some folks on the team that I knew, called in, reached out to them, and
let him know that there was something becoming available. And then when he was doing his interview, he's like, "I know all 3 people that are doing a peer review interview with me." And I'm like, "That's favor. That's nice. Great."
It's nice going into a role where you know people, because honestly, the role before that, I didn't know anybody, and that's tough. Yes. You feel like you're bugging them when you reach out to them for questions. So.
100%. So what is on everybody's Christmas list? I must know this. Help me get creative here, because I always have people ask me, they're like, "What do you want for Christmas?" Or is it
harder to buy for people now? It seems like it's
I think it is too, but I feel like it's because people just, I mean, we've been very blessed in the last few months, 100%, and in general, we've just been blessed. We have much more than we deserve to have.
We're bad for wanting something or seeing it right then and be like, "Well, get it," and we'll call it a Christmas present.
And we'll call it. So then when Christmas comes, he's like, "You bought me this like 3 months ago." I'm like, "No, you bought you that, and you said this is my Christmas gift." But I'm always like that person. Like, I want to at least have something that you don't know about under the tree. So what's on your guys' Christmas list? What's like the number one thing?
Margie said, "I've been living in my Queen Dilly sweatshirt. Keeps me warm."
I was giving her cuddles this morning, and she made me think of you so much, Margie. I'm so glad we get to talk with you tonight, because I've been really thinking about you. But it's so funny, because like in the morning now, she knows, like the other goats are kind of silly. They'll all stand outside and scream for me to bring their hay. But Dilly will go around on the inside and like stand on the gate so that I can come and hug her and like give her all the love-ins that she can handle. So I'm like, "You're super smart." And I was giving her a hug this morning. I was thinking of you. I'm like, Margie would like to give you a hug.
Goats, our last goat, I think we were waiting on winning heat.
Adult goat.
Yeah.
Not our first fresheners, but yeah.
So that was a big win today. This is how you know you're a crazy goat lady, where we're sitting in the kitchen talking, and then she just screams, "Oh my God," runs out there, grabs a goat, and drags it over to the buck pen. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
You grab the buck.
I grabbed the buck. Okay. I grabbed her first.
I didn't see which one you grabbed.
Because usually the doe will run up to the fence and they get all hot and bothered. I'm like, this will distract them while I'm coming up and grabbing them.
Yeah. So that's how things
I told
roll
him,
here.
Well, it's funny because we're getting ready to go to dinner, and I'm like, can you just wait till I get this goat bread? He's like, "I'm not that hungry anyway yet. That's okay." And I'm like, "I got to feed, and I need to let this goat get knocked up."
Yep.
So if you could just let me.
Cannot wait.
They can't, though. If I wait, it's another 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Can't handle that. I don't want another 4 weeks between this kidding and the next.
True.
Goodness.
Emma said, "So if I ever apply at Liberty, you can put in a good word for me."
Of course.
Definitely.
We will. That'll make us co-workers. That'll be amazing.
Sing the Liberty jingle, because there's nothing worse than working there and then seeing that on every YouTube advertisement that we watch.
It does come up on a lot of YouTube. Yeah.
I like the emu idea, but you do get sick of it when you see it on a lot of the stuff.
I love the commercial when Doug comes and he's like, "Who's sitting at my desk?" And it's just feathers everywhere. I'm like, okay, Doug, we know who is at your desk.
Then people find out we have a lot of animals are like, "Do you have an emu?" No, we
I
don't have an
know. I told them they need to have a goat.
Mhm.
Like I could totally and say like Liberty Mutual is the goat.
emu. Maybe you could
I could
propose
supply
that.
the
Yeah, we
goat.
could supply the goat. Yeah.
We could have famous goats.
Mm-hmm. Might
I
work.
have all these things like popping into my head.
Yeah.
Marketing my
Oh,
goats.
New Acres is here tonight.
Hello,
Hello.
Angie. How are you? How's everything going up
Steve
there?
said, "Is there any other type of goat lady apart from
There
a
is
crazy goat
not.
lady?" Doesn't seem
I
that way,
have
Steve.
not met one.
Seems like once you get on that road, it's just road to crazy town.
Yeah.
For
But you
sure.
know, if there's a goat lady in my life that isn't crazy, I don't have time for that negativity in my life. They're not welcome. They need to be as crazy as I am. Well, like we went over to his mom's on Saturday. She had like a wonderful holiday open house where she had crafts and let the general public come into like one of her barns to purchase those. But it's funny because like I was sitting with his sister and we're over there talking about like goat minerals and zinc and iron and copper and how iron blocks things and how to get around that. Like we're just talking about all this, and Mark came out and stood by the fire for like 2 seconds. Was like, "Oh God, this!" And you could just see it on his face. Like
Yeah.
he turned around and walked away. I'm like, "Yeah, that's right," because his sister and I are crazy goat ladies together. We're a support group for one
lift
another.
each other. But it's nice though because then you can bounce questions off of each other, and honestly, like as our herds grow, we can, have some extra breeding pairs that we can get from each other. So
Yes, anytime I can get with somebody in the area that's got like good bloodlines, and his sister definitely is invested in her lines. It's like
she shares.
we like swapping.
They share the same passion for goats, so
Yeah,
it's awesome.
and it's the same breed, and we both kind of going towards the same goal, so it's nice.
Steve said, "Mark, emu rhymes with new, not emu." True. Yeah, I think Ashley looked at emus for a little bit, and
I did. It's just like I really like when animals can be housed together.
Yeah,
And that's actually one of the reasons like piggies. I wanted the coonies, but I'm like they can't really be with
Celtic
goats.
roots. Hello. And
Hello, is
what
this
did
Jay?
you say they had? The Idaho? Was it?
Idaho pasture pigs.
Yeah, which I'm not familiar with. I raised pigs in 4-H, and we just dealt with like Yorkshires, Hampshires, Durocs, all that.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at the Idaho pasture pigs.
You'd like them. I think Homesteady had them for a little bit.
They're
They're very popular amongst the homesteading group.
Yep.
100 smashed it, and then I broke it.
Smash the like button.
Tell him, Jay. Jay actually was like awesome in Lala Farms, which I'm very sorry. Before I tell everybody how awesome you are, Jay. Last week, I kept calling it Celtic Farm, and we got off of here. Mark's like, "Would you quit saying that? It is not Celtic. It is Celtic." But I always get mixed up with the basketball team because they're the Celtics. So I'm sorry, Jay.
You don't watch basketball.
I know that there is a team called the Celtics, though. I'm not completely uncultured.
Yeah.
Not completely, just
maybe
a little bit. But you were doing so good about the Muscovy Ducks because you're like, they do this and this. I'm like, dang, Jay knows his Muscovy Ducks, you know?
We love ours.
We love our Muscovy Ducks. I wish they would not reproduce as quickly as they do because then it overwhelms me. And whenever they go broody, I'm like, nah, Mama, you do you. And then when I've got 30 extra ducks, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Eat them.
Emma said, funny thing about using animals in commercial ads, they have to be in an acting union. SAG-AFTRA?
Okay.
The union? Huh.
I might need to get in touch with
them. They were talking about it. Like they had to have special caretakers on set, and I think even a vet and stuff like that. But they honestly said, much to probably a lot of people's disappointment, a lot of the scenes are computer animated.
Well, they have to be. Emus are not going to sit there and wear glasses and just chill in like a necktie. Most of them, anyways. There might be like that one off where they really enjoy it.
So I'm sure that wasn't real emu.
Yeah, I looked in the emus, and actually the guy we bought our horse trailer from had emus, like chicks there. And I was like, but that was the one time I resisted an impulse buy. You really should probably pat me on the back for that because that like never happens. I'm waiting.
You failed the test right before this.
Right there.
I showed her some puppies that were for sale not too far away. They're Australian Shepherds, which she loves that breed.
Yeah.
And then she tried to get
another
dog. So
I didn't try to get another dog.
You said we could go get one. Or was that Joe?
That was Joe. That wasn't me. I honestly,
You said it'd be okay for a Christmas present.
No, I did not. Don't put words in my mouth, sir. I did not say that. Honestly, like my heart dog, not that June isn't like my best puppy right now, But like my soul
Just looks
dog,
at
I
you
know
like,
she's
I
over
know
here
that.
looking at me like, why are you talking about it? She did it again. Was an Australian Shepherd, and like I'm just not ready to have another Australian Shepherd because she was just like so amazing. I honestly still cannot talk about that dog without like getting emotional. So we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
So Sweeney's just keep moving right along. It's like emu, amazing animals, awesome meat, one of the best you will eat. Emu oil has a lot of amazing applications. They make great pets too until the boys bet a bit. Oh yes, till they get a bit amorous. Yes. I don't know if you guys were watching White House on the Hill, but Bamboo has been becoming amorous towards Jake and Becky. Like he gets in the mating position, like close to them, but he's not interested in the lady emu. I thought that was interesting.
Celtics, I forgive you.
Yeah, I thank you. I was worried after we got off. It bothered me all week, and then that did come up in Lola Farms. I'm like, see, Mark was right. Should not have said that.
Let's see, we got Mariana in here tonight.
Hello,
Hello, Mariana. Celtic Roots said, funny, I know, I worked with the mascot from the Celtics.
Really?
That is pretty cool.
See, and you said that right because you knew he was referring to like the basketball team.
With the four-leaf clover too.
See, I'm not that sharp. I'm just not.
Rosinski said, we can own kangaroo in South Carolina. Ain't that crazy? That's pretty
so
cool.
Cool. Oh,
but you need to probably have high fences.
Yeah, because Steve said like they'll go over some pretty high fences.
Yeah. Man, I've seen some videos of those things recently that look like they're on steroids. Like
yeah, they're just like buff.
They look like body lifters.
I'm like, man, I've got goals. I had kangaroo goals at one point. Angie says we just picked a new puppy tonight. She's only 4 weeks old, so we can't wait to get her. Oh, what kind of puppy?
Yeah.
Could you tell us what kind of puppy? If we're not spoiling a video, if we're spoiling a video, by all means, I will watch the video when it comes out. It's okay.
So is that puppy a early Christmas present then? Since we're getting close.
They happen any time of the year. They're present.
Sure.
Just it could be a Friday.
That
like,
makes
Happy
a good
Friday.
reason for one.
This is true. It's a good excuse.
Celtic
and then Jay says, we keep talking about getting some dogs. We miss having one. They're super helpful too, except for like my Australian Shepherd. He's not helpful.
Yeah. So last night, we can't say that we're happy to have dogs because they got into our trash while we left. And
coffee grounds.
They ate my coffee grounds. So our dog literally at, what was that, 2:30 in the morning?
He's just started running between the door and the bed. I'm like, stop.
Yeah. So it wasn't intentional. They got in the trash. It's not like we feed them coffee grounds regular, but they were hyped. Like
they were so hyper.
Our bigger dog June, her pupils were dilated. Looked like she
looked like she was just like on the biggest.
Her eyes were glowing because
her pupils were so big, and she's just like.
Yeah, so light was hitting.
It's like I don't know what coffee does to dogs, but it doesn't need to happen again.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It doesn't have that effect to me in the morning.
Like
it helps
the
me
one
wake
is
up,
just sitting there like patting his legs back and forth. I'm like, you got to
God
be
that
still.
wore off because that was a nightmare.
It was bad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Emma said, but even I know it's pronounced with a K, Celtic. Yeah.
Just rub it in, Emma. You're superior. I get it.
Rosinski said that yes, we need a permit. Yeah, I think some of those more exotic animals typically you do have to permits.
Yeah, I know Indiana or Ohio didn't have very strong permit laws, but the guy in Zanesville that let all of his animals out and like went out in a meat suit and like, did they kill him?
Yeah,
his animals killed. He went out in a meat, like literally in a suit of meat, and after that they tightened up laws really, like tight. Which is good. Hello, Patty. We're just talking about guys getting eaten in meat suits.
Us kids. That's why we love you, Patty.
I know. Thank you.
Hilltop Flower said, "Love how much you laugh."
I can't help it. You can until like we're in here and he says something that's just so dumb, and I'm like belly laughing. That happened on the way home. What was I laughing at?
I don't know.
I see it happens too often.
I actually get some of my gun jokes sometimes. There's that one with Jerry Mitchell.
Oh yeah, so Jerry Mitchell, like when they have like gun shooting competition, I'm gonna try to explain this, okay? And you can tell me how good I do. I'm gonna rock it. So they'll have like shooting competitions where they've got like a beeper and it'll be like in the guy's ears like beep, and like they will load, and sometimes they do like a 3-gun competition where it's like right. And he's super fast. So like they said it had a meme of this guy like just weeping. It's like when you break into a house and Jerry's house at night and you hear the timer timing beeper go
Yeah.
off because like he's super fast. He's
Yeah.
just gonna go
Yeah,
into
yeah,
like be a savage and be super fast about it.
Yeah,
Was
I
that
got a
good?
kick out of that. It was.
that good?
It was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My goal is to make her laugh. So
You have cats that think they're dogs. Have you seen that commercial? Is it a Dodge commercial, like where the cat's doing all the dog things, and like the guy's like, man.
Our little Australian Shepherd's that way. Like he'll sit on the top of the couch, lick his paws.
But I
and
am
clean
not a
himself.
cat person, so it
Yeah.
drives me nuts.
Yeah. He's totally different than a
Brings in
full-size
moles.
Australian Shepherd we have.
I was thinking about doing a video on how many dead moles are in my yard because of him.
Yeah.
He brings them in, and then
2
the
to
big
3 a
dog
week,
runs them
at
off and
least,
takes care of
on a
them.
slow week.
And there's a lot out there right now.
Yeah.
I really need to clean it up.
Celtic Roots said they are supposed to be barn cats. Meanwhile, they are roughing it at the moment, sleeping next to the fireplace.
Our cats
Oh,
have stayed
that
barn
sounds like the life.
cats.
Yeah.
Though Joe and my niece and nephew, when they come over, they're always like, "Can they just come in?" I'm like, "No, they got a job out there. They're okay at their job. They're not the best."
The one we've got's gotten pretty old.
Yeah,
Hasn't it?
so Elmo was
12 or something?
the only invited cat that we have on our farm. We did have 5 at one point. I paid to have everybody spayed and neutered, the most expensive charity cases I've ever had on my farm. And Halloween just stopped coming around. And the other 2, but we have coyotes in our area, and as long as they stay in the barn, they're fine. But a lot of them like to like go out, and I'm like, when you go out, we got big eagle. There's eagles, there's huge hawks, there's owls, there's coyotes, there's bobcats, there's fox, there's everything here. Yeah. And it's
then one of them, like, so we're down to 2, and one of them disappeared for a month or 2, came back heavier,
fat as a cat,
so,
like fat.
Wherever she went,
she was
found
lounging.
some food. Yeah,
she found a
she's at
sucker.
Abel's house,
That's what she did. She found a sucker.
She was close to Garfield looking. Like she was definitely eating high on the hog. That's for sure.
She is a fantastic mouser. I was glad to see her come back.
I was tempted to figure out where she went because I was like,
like
she's
you want to
good.
feed me too?
Yeah. Fairview Family Farm said there's a farm here in northern Indiana that has camels. That's awesome.
Camels are cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're hoping this weekend to go down to the Ark Encounter in Kentucky, where they rebuilt Noah's Ark, and they have a petting zoo there, and I think they have camels, if I remember right.
Camels.
So
I love camelids; they're super cool. Camelids are just like the bet. So camels are part of the camelid family, like llamas and alpacas, but they just get like that BA stare where they will not break eye contact, and they're super intimidating. I love that about them. I love the reaction it caused in people that were here because they'd be like, is your llama, because we've had 2 llamas, they're like, is he friendly? I'm like, don't go up to him. Like, he's not gonna let you pet him.
Yeah, her sister
he lets me pet him, but
remember?
like he's not going to let you pet him. And like they would come up to the fence and they would just
lock eyes. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. One time your sister was here taking care of the animals and she'd never been around llamas before, and I guess the gate swung open. I can get through this because I can just see it in my head. She was feeding the goats first and the llama got out. And she's like, I freaked because she's like, I didn't know if it was going to go with the kids. So she's like, I'm screaming at like the kids, get up on the fence, get it. Like what we do with cattle, get under something or get on top of something to get away from them. Yeah. And she's like, he's like pronging. He's
excited to be out.
She's like, I'm screaming like a madman. Chad's out there shaking a bucket of feed, and like I can see all this in my head so clearly. And it tickled me. And ever since then, I'm like, I love llamas because like they're just really intimidating for people.
They're cool. You definitely have a unique personality.
I'm gonna giggle about this the rest of the night because I can see it in my head.
Patty said, "Cats outdoors or in someone else's house is the only kind of cats I like." Agree with you, Patty. Chris is clever. You'll be all right. Chris is clever. Said, "I've been MIA." That's okay. Totally fine. That's glad to have you here tonight.
We're just glad that you're here.
We do that a little bit, honestly, during the summer and stuff like that on a lot of lives, just because, we're outdoors more, trying to get things done on the farm with the extra hours of sunlight. So, yeah, we finally got back into
feel you. It's okay.
Catching channels and more content and catching up. So, with the weather turning cold. Patty said coyotes love cats to munch on. Unfortunately, they do. Yeah,
that's like their main diet here is household pets.
Out here. But honestly, we haven't heard coyotes recently in a little while. When we first moved out here, they were coming through our backyard We'd see one every
We
now
had
and then.
a coy, and I can't prove to you it was a coy dog, but it was much larger than a coyote.
Yeah,
But look,
because our coyotes don't really get that big.
no, and there have been reportings of coy dogs here where coyotes have mated with domesticated dogs. So they look a lot like coyotes, they act a lot like coyotes, they're bigger, and they're not as afraid of humans. They don't have like that natural fear instinct that like purebred coyotes would have. And like what went through and wiped out 13 chickens, let them out, walked in, went in, killed them, was going to eat the dog. Was not afraid. Was most coyotes, you come out and hey, big, make yourself big and get really loud, and that thing was still just coming right towards me. Mark came out behind me with a pistol, thankfully, and sent it on its way. But it was crazy. Hello, Kaylin. I haven't seen you forever. Look at all the MIA people coming back to me. Come back to me, guys.
Yeah. Good to see you guys.
So good to see
Familiar
you.
faces.
And that's okay. Nobody ever has to like apologize for being MIA. I love you as much now as I did the last time I talked to you. So it's okay.
For sure.
I finally calmed down about thinking about the terrorizing llama.
Yeah. Llamas would be something we'd probably like to get again, but unfortunately, are the parasite we have here.
The meningeal worm is really bad. And like, even though people are like, goats carry the meningeal, no, goats do not carry the meningeal worm. Goats can be affected by meningeal worm. They're a little bit less susceptible to it, but it's the white-tailed deer and the slug that carry the.
We've lost to that.
White-tailed deer carry the worm, and the eggs are laid in slug paths. So if your animal eats the eggs from the slug slime on the path of grass, that's how they get meningeal worm. And usually when they start showing symptoms, it's too late.
Yeah,
because they attack the spinal cord and the brain.
Doing prevention treatments, and we lost our last one.
Well, and it's hard too because and the reason it's really hard to treat meningeal worm is because it's a worm that attacks the spinal cord and the brain, and you have to have specific dewormers that can cross the blood-brain barrier, and you have to give it like so much for like 5 to 10 days, and even then, like if they're down, because it can paralyze their legs, it can cause blindness, it can cause them to like just neurologically not be right. Like even if you bring them out of it, they'll probably never be 100%. In Gunther, we got out of it one time and he was never 100%. And then the next summer it took him. 100% it took him. It was terrible. Awful way to watch an animal go, even with preventative deworming that's recommended. So
Patty said coyotes here are so used to living in suburbs. They could give a rip if there are people. Animals get used to it.
They do. They really, really do.
Yeah, and when I was in India, like the monkeys were coming in because they were expanding so much in the city I was in, which butted up against rainforest land, and the monkeys were actually coming in the city. You had to be careful. Like they'd come running up to you trying to grab something out of your hand if it was food. So the animals do get used to people and just like, hey.
The stories he brought back from India were just
they
crazy.
Still use elephants to haul stuff, which was interesting. So you'd have a traffic jam, you could be late for work because of an elephant.
Yeah. If Mark even like drives and somewhat looks like he's going to merge close to somebody, I freak out. I could never handle the traffic in India. I've seen pictures. He showed me pictures. I'm just like, I couldn't. Like I would be a nervous wreck the entire time. I'd be like, I'm just walking everywhere.
It's like the Derby when they line up to open the gates for horses at stoplights. Like they would line up every open spot. And there'd be like 12, 15 people across. Wild.
Man, it looks like a lot of you guys have problems with coyotes. So I know Hilltop Flower says that they're a terrible problem here. They're thick. Then you've got Kaylin up in Michigan who says coyotes have been very active here lately, but the dairy farmers hunt them. I mean, you have to protect your livestock.
I say it seems like they do go in cycles, like a lot of things with the ecosystem. So you'll have the prey animals become pretty heavily populated, and then all of a sudden the predators come in and dwindle that. So now we've got, because the coyotes, like I said, we haven't heard them a lot lately. We've noticed rabbits have been more popular.
We have not seen turkey in our area in a while.
Quail a while back.
We saw quail. The deer are thick this year.
Like I said, with the coyotes down, it seems like they're becoming more prevalent. But I guarantee you that cycle will turn again, and the next thing
it will turn again, because even the woods that we hunt, I haven't seen a coyote back there probably in about 5 or 6 years, and I saw a huge one this year.
Well, we had that one in our pasture last year, remember?
Oh yeah, I said
which
that was my
a couple
fault.
Years, but
but that was my fault.
Yeah,
for not burying a goat deep enough.
It's something we hadn't seen in a while, and all of a sudden, boom, there it is. So,
well, we do have a lot of game trails back in our even like with the 13 acres being mostly open, just kind of overgrown farmland, because it used to be a cornfield. Like there are a ton of game trails.
A neighbor the other day, they have a pond out back when the creek nearby runs behind it, They even said they have beaver back there, and what was it? Some type of otter.
Yeah, they
What
actually have
else was-
river otter. River otter are very rare in Indiana. We don't see
So
a
they're
whole
protected,
lot of them.
but
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's wild because I
Yeah.
just never really looked
The
for
beaver
one.
aren't protected. They have a season here. The muskrat have a season.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of seasons, but river otter are protected in Indiana, at least in specific areas. And I think the bobcat they're talking about having a season on soon.
Like Celtic Fruit says, I used to drive huge box trucks in New York City. Absolutely crazy.
Oh my goodness! Do you have
Kudos to
nerves
you.
of
I do-
steel? That's
I
crazy.
could not handle that. That traffic's nuts.
I don't even know how I went to college in Cincinnati for
Yeah.
2 years. Like, I don't understand how I did it because, like, now I'm a nervous. Sometimes when he drives in heavy traffic, like, I have to put my head down because I'm like, it freaks me out so bad. I just get used to being out here where there's nobody and nothing. So, like, when there's people like that close together and moving vehicles, I'm like, nope, this isn't good.
But like when I go to sleep at night, the funny thing is I like watching the live cameras of people out in like the city areas.
Yeah.
And the one I watch right now is New York City, and he's like out at night following.
He
the
follows
police
first
scanners
responders,
and
yeah.
stuff like that,
Like
which
he
is
follows
cool.
first
But-
responders. He's very interesting to watch.
I'll watch some of them walk around New York City. I think it's enticing to watch, but I don't think I could live there very long.
Yeah, Patty, I've heard about the crossbreeding, the hybrid wolf and coyote.
The coy dogs,
Yes.
we call them out here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have different areas.
I don't know what they call them
They
if it's wolf. I know like the coy dog is specifically crossed
she's
with
talking
like
about
a
coy
domesticated.
coyotes and wolves. Huh,
Yeah, is that a coy wolf? Isn't that what they call it?
Probably. I imagine something like that.
Because we get that all the time out here. Like we just had
Cool if
someone
they
on
called them woyotes with the W at the beginning.
Woyotes. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a new
It's Marcus turn for it.
Woyotes. So whenever we hear Marky say
Well,
Woyotes, we know wolves and
I'm gonna
coyote
copyright
mixes.
that. So,
So Emma says, haven't heard any coyotes yet. Kind of surprised because they usually sound off at this time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they have the pack and the young
That'll
in
be
their pack.
spring here, but they're
You'll
getting.
hear them yip and
They'll be in mating. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we in mating season already for coyotes? I
I
can't remember the
don't really
gestation on a
track it.
coyote. I know the gestation for a goat,
mhm.
but I don't remember the gestation
You
for
know
coyotes.
that well.
Yeah. So does Kaylin. I'm sure she's like got it down to a science too.
Fayetteville Hill Farm said just had a hawk checking out my chickens today, and the guineas
Yes.
were going absolutely bonkers. Better than the eagle who likes to sit in our hayfield.
I hear ya.
Eagle, that'd be
I told Mark
But-
yesterday I was out haying the goats and it was either a Cooper's or a Sharpshine. He was still too far away, not the big red tail. If it had been a big red tail, I probably wouldn't have been able to pull him out of the dive. But I was in there and I was haying our goats and I could just see it because they were in the cornfield that's been harvested, scratching around, and it was just coming in. I'm out there like, hey hawk, hey hawk, hey hawk, like all the goats like hay's falling out of their mouth.
Mhm.
But it scared the chickens to death. Like the hawk eventually pulled up.
Yeah.
I'd like to say it's because I was being loud and obnoxious and crazy. But then they went under a
Cost me
wood
a
pile
lot.
and I had to go out there and kick the wood pile to get them to go back in their coop. So today
Mhm.
they stayed cooped today. Because a lot of times like the hawks will time out your routine. And it's the same with deer hunting. When someone goes into the deer woods, they're like, I don't ever see any deer. I'm like, it's because the deer have you your routine worked out. They already know when you're there. It's the same like with it's true though. Deer move regardless. They
Like
have
I said,
to.
have you?
Have you? But it's the same with the hawks. They say hawks will know your routine too. So usually if I break it up for a couple of days, they
It's
don't.
always
they
wild
don't
when
come
I'm
back.
sitting and standing, they go cutting in and out of the trees.
Oh
Like
yeah.
we're in a pretty wooded area, and they'll just
They go after the squirrels. I'm like, yeah, that's
it's like
right.
watching like I don't
Get
know,
that squirrel. He keeps telling
fighter
the deer
jet
where I'm
wing
at.
swing in and out. Emma said I learned how to drive in SoCal, so Matt always has me drive when we're in big cities,
Ooh.
especially when we go to visit my folks. Yeah, if you're used to that driving, it's definitely a skill.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't driven in a city in a while, and where were we at recently? I was like, man, this is tougher than I remember.
It was coming home from Front Royal, Virginia,
Yeah.
down in that little.
Yeah, because where do we
I
swing
got
up
you all
to?
turned around.
Pittsburgh or something like that.
Yeah.
We swung around the loop or part of it.
I
or
got him
something.
so turned around on the way home from
Yeah.
Home
She's
Sense
like,
of
don't go
America.
down that way. That's an
And
exit.
that was the turn,
Yeah.
but I was freaking. I'm like, don't go down there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, actually, that was the turn.
Yeah.
He's like, thank you. And then
Thank
we
God a
kept going
cop wasn't
around
nearby. I thought I was drunk. and shit.
because he swerved and then he swerved back over and then
Yeah.
he swerved again. I'm like, I'm
It's
sorry.
invasive maneuvers it look like. Patty said my son drives a front loader garbage truck in a very busy area of the metro. It's nuts. Yeah.
People just kind of drive like nobody else
Especially
exists.
with distracted driving now. It's just so much.
Well, and that's the
worse.
thing. It's like you have to be super defensive to kind of stay out of other people's way. It's crazy.
Mhm. Patty said it's coy wolf, western coyotes, and wolves. We may have condos, e-condos here too, but have heard of any recently. Now, what are e-condos?
What are e-condos? I know about condors, but I don't know what e-condos are.
Huh. Favorite?
That's SB Koi Dog, not condos. Okay, she's already correct.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool. I was like, man, what kind of animal is that? That one sounds interesting.
Fable Hill Farm. Oh yeah, Ashley, I have all those countdowns on an app for every doe. What app do you use? Do you use Livestock?
I use a countdown app.
Do you?
Yeah, for my suppressors.
I've tried to use Livestock app, and then I'm just like, I'll just go off my notes.
Yeah.
Keep like a book full of notes on goats. It's ridiculous.
I think
Kidding,
it's just
much
called a
pigeons.
countdown.
42 days, man. You're that close. That's awesome.
Day
I will
count.
be so.
That's what I use.
Day count?
Yeah.
I will be so jealous. I don't think our first does are due until
You can put like nice
March.
backgrounds. See,
Oh, well,
it tells you how many days you've been. You can put goats' names in there.
I have one goat that she should be due at the end of January, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the girls are hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion. I haven't taken the tube to try to see, like, does it go in or not? Because I feel like I'm violating her. But she's not settled. She's almost 4 and has not settled in the last 3 years that I've had her.
Which stinks because she has really good bloodlines.
Super good. Like Heavy and Woodbridge lines and Old Mountain Farm. Like, I'm like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
So it's fine. I've given her enough chances, though. So I have to make some cuts, I guess.
Yep.
Dude's mildly freaking out. Man, January is a tough month to kid out. That's one of the main reasons we got out of the boars, because I'm like, I do not like kidding in January.
Mm-mm.
Hello, Mama Burton.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Well, Patty, that's okay. Just hurry back. We love you and we miss you. Yeah, January kiddings were always.
Yeah, you spread out your kiddings
I
more
spread
this
them
year.
out a lot this year, but I did a lot more hand breeding, mostly because like I just had a backup in bucks, and that was just what it called for. I had people that were not ready for bucks. I was holding them, and it's crazy. Won't do that again, but it was just crazy. So we've been doing a lot of hand breeding. I did my last adult doe hand bred today, and then I have first time freshers I'm waiting till like the end of January, maybe even like early February, just to get them kitted out to see where they're at. But I don't know. I don't know what's worse, January kiddings or July kiddings. Mm-hmm. They both have like
the flies in the barn.
Flies in June, July worse. Are just so awful. And keeping a doe in milk when it's super hot here is like the worst.
It's a pain.
Fair is always on the hottest week, and then they're stressed because they're at the fair a week, and then it's hot. And then they don't want, even if you've weaned them, they still want like their doeling.
It's funny because their personalities change at the fair. So you'll have like a goat that's usually a good walker and everything like that, and then get into the show ring there. It's hot.
We had a yearling.
New place. Oh my god.
She was perfect here. Got
awful.
In the ring, would not walk.
Yeah.
Would not walk. Just screamed. Just
walk decent at home.
She walks great at home. But then that ruined her because then she's got that in her head now. She's ruined. I have to really work with her to get her back where she. And do you have any tips, Caitlin, for getting to walk with her head up? She really wants to just keep her head down. When she sets up, I can get her head up, but I'd really like her to walk with her head held higher without choking her to death. Just, I know you would know, so I'm just asking. So Caitlin says, I used to just the regular Countdown app, but I also have PC Dart, which is through DHIA, and it tracks all like herd maintenance, breedings, etc. It is designed for cows, kind of low tech, but it's okay. That wouldn't be bad though.
Pretty cool. Oh no, you're pretty low tech. You use a pen and paper.
Pen and paper, baby. Pen and paper.
Still the old traditional.
I know. Shut up.
It works.
And then I have to hold on to my planner because like I'll get a new planner for next year. And then I'll be like, when did they breed? And I'll like have to whip that planner out and be like, when was the last time this comes up? Because sometimes I put notes everywhere. I'm not as organized as I should be. I may be picking your brain, Kaylin, about milk testing because I know you took part in milk testing. I'm interested in it, but I don't have so many irons in the fire.
Have you heard anything on the linear appraisals for next year?
No, they don't have that posted yet. Are you going to do that too, Kaylin? Let's talk goats, baby. Let's talk linear appraisals and milk testing.
Hello, Brigitte.
I think I'm going to be a host herd this year, though. I have enough goats here. Honestly, the whole like having to bring every doe that's ever freshened with you, I'm like, okay, so that's like 20 does. Like I do not want to Transport 20 does, I will be a host herd, I think. So I'm just
Brigitte likes to go talk. She said,
yes,
go
goat talk, because you're getting your French Alpines, right, Brigitte? How many are you getting? Like 20?
French
We're starting
Alpines
with
are
20,
awesome
right?
goats.
Yeah, Marky started with Alpines, so he
Yeah, I
has a
love
special
Alpines.
place in his heart for Alpines.
Table Hill Farm said, I just bred 3 juniors the other day, so I am kidding. January through end of April.
Oh, girl, I'll be praying for you. You pray for me, I'll pray for you.
What's her name? You said her name.
Kaylin.
Kayla. Yeah.
Kaylin, yep. Ugh.
So, Emma, crazy goat ladies. Yes, Ashley can be that at moments.
I am that like 24/7. Like he said earlier today, we were in the middle of a conversation. I'm like, oh my God, can you wait? I have to go get this goat bread. She's finally to eat. I've been
running out of
waiting
the
on
kitchen.
her.
I know
did.
that's an
It's
important piece of
important.
her life. So
It's important.
I
And
don't
he
like
comes
it.
out there and like, I feel so bad because like I'm filming the bucks and the doe that got bred is bred by one of the bucks that I kept back from this last year. And Flu was angry. Like he was screaming and just carrying on. And when I was done hand breeding, I put him back in and like he was butting him at the at their food trough. I was like, well, you can't be mad at him. Like I'm talking to the bucks like they're people. I'm like, Flu, you cannot be mad at Willie. He's just a chip off the old block. He's only doing what you were more than happy to do. You should be happy. You kind of took part in that breeding because he's like your son, so you're responsible for him being here. Like your genetics are still getting passed on, but you didn't get to do the deed. And Mark's like, I turn around, he's standing there, he's like, hey.
But
they
then
needed
I
a
went over
heart-to-heart.
and trash talked the bucks.
He
too,
did go over and trash talk the goat,
Yeah.
which Flu has been aggressive with me.
which I think is funny because then it gets them all worked up. So
Which I've had to tell you, I've told you too, like no roughing them through the fence because he
Yeah.
tried to get aggressive last week. I got it on film. I'm making a video about how you handle an aggressive buck, but it was not fun.
Mm-mm.
Like it was probably one of the first times I'm like, you did that on purpose and you meant to hurt me, and now you have to know that you can't do that. It was not fun. Boo.
Brigitte said 2 females and 2 males. Perfect
Ooh.
starting setup.
Yes,
Hold on, you didn't read.
I did it?
Caitlin's, didn't you?
I did.
No, right here.
It seems some does just refuse to walk with the heads up. I just dragged them and hope they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do
Break
this
their
one.
will a little bit,
Yeah, oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Joe's bad for sometimes letting them put their head down too.
Well,
and we
she's
just
tinier
have to,
too, so like it's not like in her mind
Because
to
once
like
they
get
that
them up.
head of steam too, it's like they
Well,
just want to.
and she doesn't get that. I'm like, you've got to keep it like right behind their ears and keep it up. Like you don't have to choke them out. Just don't let them have their head. And it's the same with horses. When you're trying to break a more gentle horse down, especially in the saddle, it's like when they get out of control, you cannot let them have their head. Like you have to control the head. You control the head, you control the animal. And it's just tough for the little kids to understand because I'm like, if she gets her head down and pulls, she's got a lower center of gravity. That little goat's going to drag you in the arena. You need to keep her head up.
Kaylin said, I will sign up for linear appraisals again and do milk testing again for sure. I have 1 dose still on test right now that kid did in September.
Okay, awesome. I was so bummed about linear appraisals last year, especially trying to keep them in milk. I'm like, oh my God, just tell us if we're having it or not.
To do it, and then just never came to fruition.
Yeah, like even like the host herd was like, what do you think? Do you think we should just dry? And I'm like, I'm just going to, it's your hosting. If you dry up, I will dry mine too. If we both decide like it's probably not going to happen, we're going to go and dry up. And it didn't happen, so we're happy. Live with Belinda and Chuck, hello. How are you? We're still hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Stephanie said, I'm so glad I'm not the only one that has conversation with my goats like they can answer back.
Dude, he catches me all the time.
I just mess with the bucks. That's all I talk to.
Don't mess with Flu. I don't need him being aggressive. You can mess with like Love Bug because he's a sweetheart. He's a bottle baby, so he's really sweet. Oh, have a good night, everybody. Is what Chris from Clevercraft says.
Yeah.
Good night.
Kaylin said, Sunny's dose eye is so stunning.
Conformationally,
but she will not walk with her head up, so has no clue how she'll show next year.
I just hope sometimes that you get a good judge that understands that.
Yeah.
You know, and then
because sometimes it's hard to show their dimensions.
Well, especially when they're fighting you.
Yeah.
Like especially over a head, because like it can cause them to roach or just it can
doesn't
do a
show
lot
their
of
length a
things.
good a
So
lot of
yeah,
times.
it just doesn't do them any
Scrunch up
justice.
on you.
But I really hate when I feel like I'm trying to break them to do that, and you
Mhm.
can tell where I'm like, this is uncomfortable for you, and it's uncomfortable
Yeah.
for me, and I'm hoping you catch on before I'm like, whatever. And you just
That was the
walk
funny
with
thing
your
about
head
the
down.
Alpine I had growing up. Like, she was awesome at showing, led
Mhm.
great, just had that personality to please, and would, do whatever you wanted to in the ring.
She was a
Unfortunately,
showmanship goat.
yeah, she was not good as far as
Yeah.
seat wise, build. She
Yeah.
just didn't have it for there. But for showmanship, she was great to have, which
Yeah.
was nice.
It's nice
No
when you do
stress.
have like those
Yeah.
goats that are just like so, like Willow is that. We probably
Yeah.
have 2 or 3 that for fair, like I know,
No,
like they are
personality.
going to be just solid. They're going to be even. Like you don't even have to almost practice with them. They know what they're doing,
Yeah.
which is great.
Kellen said me too. So disappointed that Michigan didn't get LA's this year, or LA either. Really want that feedback to help shape my breeding decisions
See,
for the
me
next couple of
too.
years. Yeah, Ashley's
And like you're much
wanting to
more
get that
well versed, so that
confirmation.
makes me feel better because I'm like, I just want someone who just has just a really good eye for what they're looking at, is
Yep.
trained, and can tell me, like, confirm what I feel about a doe, like through that appraisal, or be like, no, you've just got a skewed viewpoint because like you love the goat.
Mhm.
You love the goat and you think she's great, but she's not that great, you
Yeah.
know, or at least help me to understand like what kind of a buck I need to pair with. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Well, fellas and ladies and everybody in between that's in here, we are probably going to wrap it up.
It's
We have
getting late.
trash to take out. I have to close up the barn. I need to bust ice again, I'm sure, because the goats will still come out in the middle of the night and want to drink.
Yep.
I didn't get my trough warmers in, so
On the docket for tomorrow.
on the docket for tomorrow. But I thank you guys that have stuck with us this whole
And
time.
all the familiar faces that were MIA
Yes.
before. It was awesome to see
Welcome
them
back,
again.
Kaylin. I just
So
love
glad to
talking
see
with you in our chats. Like, if you ever do a live, you need to let me know because I would love to I love to talk with you. You're fan. I love to talk with all of you,
Yeah.
but like it's me like goat, like the goat, like the ADGA world. She gets it. She gets it. And I love it because this guy gets so tired of me chewing his ear where he's like, they're cute. That's all I know. And they give us milk.
Yeah.
But until next time, guys, thank you so much for being with us. We hope that you are all staying safe out there and being kind to one another. We will catch you in the next one. God bless y'all.
Good night.
Bye,
God bless.
guys.
Bye.